Hello, BookTube. We're continuing on with my non-fiction bookshelf tours. We've pretty much got four big shelves to do, and they're all on the floor here, like the bottom shelves. And I was thinking how I was gonna film this video, pretty much because where it's placed in my room, like it's literally right next to my bed, and so I have to like sidestep just to get into bed if I want to go into the side, and whatever. And I thought I'll just move my bed and I'll sit on the floor or whatever, but I'm just way too tall to do that. Like I can't fit, and to get a right angle would be just not worth it. And so pretty much you're gonna see me reaching down and pulling out books because that's the name of the game. And so in terms of genres, we're going to be subgenres of nonfiction. We're going to go through all of them today. There is literally so much here in terms of different genres and all that. And so let's get started. This is so fun. And these are books I never get to talk about. I don't know why, but I'm really excited because I get to talk about some of my favorite books. So anyway, let's start. I did pull out a shelf already just so we can get started. But here we have Helter. We're going to go through like true crime. I don't like true crime that much because I don't like how. Oh my god, what was I going to say? I don't like how the way it's published and just the industry itself I've never loved. So I always get my crime books secondhand or pirated sometimes, even if they're newer releases. But I don't like it that much. I've never. Like, I can only name three true crime books that I've liked, and because most of them are genuinely some of the worst things I've ever read, just because they're so badly written, and I just can't stomach them anymore. But I did do a lot of. I did like Charles Manson in terms of reading about him. I was obsessed with him in high school, and so I still have my copy of Helter Skelter here. This is still probably for me the best book about Charles Manson and his family, and it's just really great reading. It's still relevant, and in terms of in what it talks about too about Manson. This is, I think, still an updated edition. I wonder, will they revise it now that one of the Manson family girls have been released, which I never thought I would ever see that one of them would be released, and they're in their 70s now and whatever. But I just never thought I'd see the day where one of them gets released. And I know that there's still, like, of the main Manson families who were arrested, I know there's a lot of them still in prison. Well, like the handful that are still alive. But anyway, we have oh my god, Helter Skelter here. Then we have The Great Influencer 2 by John M. Barry. This is famous and popular, and I agree with it. I loved it. It's the history of influenza during World War One, and it's really interesting and incredible. And I loved it so much when I read it. I devoured that book. I enjoyed it so much. And then speaking of Vincent, the guy who done Helter Skelter, because he worked on the Manson family case in court, he also wrote a massive book about the JFK assassination. Like, we're talking 2,000 pages plus a CD too, which kept on going. And so pretty much that book was divided into two parts. It had what I have here, which is 4 days in November, and it's literally breaking down the day JFK died by the minute, pretty much. And the other half of that book was him debunking every JFK conspiracy you've ever heard. And I don't have that part, and I wouldn't probably never find the original, because I only have the abridged, and because I refuse to pay shipping to get it sent over here because it's so expensive, and I can't justify it. So I brought the abridged edition, and this is just breaking down the day JFK died. And I do love this book. It is incredible. I love Vincent's writing a lot, and it's so factual and it's so blunt and it's direct, and I just really enjoy it. But the day I see the complete book, oh my god, I'm gonna buy that so fast. It will be so heavy, but it'll be worth it. And then we have I'll Be Gone in the Dark. This is probably one of the more famous true crime books of the last, I don't know, 10 years or whatever. It's incredible the way this book interweaves the main girl's obsession with trying to catch this killer, and her journey through drugs too, and just how the story interweaves her research with her own life is just incredible. It's so gripping. I do think I remember hearing that it is one of the great selling true crime books. Like, I don't know if it is because I know In Cold Blood by Truman Capote is still like the best selling true crime book, and I've never liked Truman Capote at all. Like it's just not for me. I never liked In Cold Blood, and I've never liked Breakfast at Tiffany's. I just don't get it. But I've always really enjoyed I'll Be Gone in the Dark. It's really gripping. Give it a try, because it's amazing. We have that, and let's keep going. We have Discipline and Punish, the history, a birth of prisons, and this pretty much talks about how we used to execute people, and how society changed, and how we just moved on to prisons, and it's just the history of that, and it's really really well written, and I really loved it. So we have that. We have The Body Keeps a Score. This is probably one of the most famous books about trauma and PTSD. I read this many, many years ago, and I don't know if it could hold up to a reread. I don't remember it being Dude Bro at all, but I think it is like Dude Bro adjacent, kind of like a Thomas Pynchon is, where they're technically not Dude Bro, but the work gets upheld by Dude Bros, and I don't know if The Body Keeps a Score is on that level. I just need to reread it because it's been a long time since I actually have read it, and I audiobooked it at work, and I really found it interesting. Then we have two books by Caitlin Dowdy. Yeah, this is the Ask a Mortician girly on YouTube, and I love her books. We have From Here to Eternity. This is her talking about different cultures, cultures around funerals and just death in general, and she goes all over the world and explores it, and it's incredible, and I found it really interesting. And then we have probably one of my favorite nonfiction books ever. It's up there with My Life in France by Julia Child, and Spare by Prince Harry. If you know, you know. And As Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. This is her talking about her training as a mortician, and her earliest days working in a morgue. And the way this book, it's very humorous. Like, it's very, if you like dark humor, this is for you. The jokes about ashes getting everywhere is just so funny for me. I did laugh at it. I don't know what it says about me, but and it's very gripping. The scenes where she does talk about watching people experience grief and loss, and some outbursts. It's very amazing to hear her talk about that, and the way she balances those two styles, I think, is very lovely. But this is just incredible. She does have another book, and it's like a Q&A type book, and I've read that. I used to have it, but I got rid of it because I just would rather have proper novels and not just like Q&A books or whatever. She is, it was announced last year, she was working on a book about the Titanic, and I am here for it. I don't have any books about the Titanic. It's never been like a go-to area to in terms of history for me. I don't know why. It is interesting because there are so many like rabbit holes to go into it all, and all the misconceptions about it. And I would love to. I can't wait to see what she writes about it too, because I will be here waiting, because I would really love her writing. And she's one of those people where, oh my god, this is so funny. I literally don't watch her YouTube at all. I literally just read her books, and I just think of her as an author. But anyway, let's keep going. We have two books here. Empire of Pain. This is, oh my god, I actually don't know what it's about, to be honest. The Secret History of the Slacker Dynasty, and I think it's, I actually don't know. Anyway, I haven't read this one yet. Obviously, it's big, and so I have that. Then also I have read this, and this is Bad Blood, of course, Secrets of the Silicon Valley Startup, and the shady things around that. Iconic. What do I need to say? It's amazing. And then we have Never Home Alone. This is a mass market non-fiction book about how microbes and millipedes, cameled crickets and honeybees, and pretty much how they're always around you and are on you all the time. And I loved it. It was so weird, but also like comforting, because you're never alone. And you've always got bugs on you, and it's very lovely. And I don't know. I was charming, and I really did enjoy it. So that's one stack of books done. I'll move these out the way, and let's keep going. So next, we're gonna do oh my god, we're gonna do some books about weight, pretty much, and weight culture and diet culture and all that. Because I went through a phase. Mara from Books Like Woe, she done an amazing, iconic video about wellness, what's it mean to be well, years and years ago, and I've read all of the books she referenced in that video, and some of them are genuinely some of my all-time favorite non-fiction books, and I've kept some of them. But whenever Mara from Books Like Woe recommends a non-fiction book, I am here and I am reading that, because we really have similar taste when it comes to non-fiction, and I trust her with everything. She is literally my guiding light when it comes to non-fiction and romance too. So anyway, we have The Big Fat Surprise, iconic, and then Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It. Both these books are more like medically based about weight. They obviously debunking BMI and all that stuff. But if you want two books about more like the sciencey side of weights and less about the sociological cultural stuff, this is these two to get. Both of them are iconic, and I haven't read these in probably, oh my god, like 5-ish years, whatever how old that video is. But I do love those. And then we have Anti-Diet. This is one about diet culture. If you're gonna do the one, this is probably my favorite. Christy Harrison. She also done a second book called The Wellness Trap, and it's pretty much the same thing as this, except not as good for me. I did have that book at one time. I brought it when it came out, but I unhauled it because it's literally just a bit of a carbon copy of this one, of her debut. But anyway, we have Anti-Diet, and then we have a really famous one, and that's Food Politics, how the food industry influences nutrition and health. What do I need to say? It's a breakdown of the history about that. It's very interesting, and it's something that will probably never change because it's so institutionalized and whatever. But anyway, we have that, and then we have randomly next to that two books about cults. We have Cults by Max Cutler. This is just a short book, and he gives you summaries of some of the most famous cults, like the Mansons, the Anthill Kids, and all of them. And it's very lovely. If you want to start with cult books about cults and all that, start with this one. And then I have a perennial favorite. This is one of my most nostalgic books for me. It was a book talk book many years ago, and that's Cultish by Amanda Montell. Yeah, the language of I can't even say that name, but anyway, this is just her talking about the linguistic side of cults, and also talking about her experiences with cults and her parents, her dad in particular. And I just really enjoyed her writing with this. I've always been let down by Amanda, because every other book I read, whether it's Word Slut was good. I actually owned all three of her books, but I got rid of Word Slut. I liked it, but I didn't need to keep it. And then her other one, I can't remember what it was called, like the Magical Thinking or whatever, and that was really bad. Like, I did not like that at all, and I was concerned for Amanda. And I hopefully, when she writes another book, hopefully I'll like it, because I really want to like her, but I don't know. I hope she writes something I like. I just hope she didn't peak with Cultish and I'm stuck reading. Well, not stuck, but you know. I'll put these back quickly so I can make more room on my bed. But to give you an example of how chaotic this non-fiction bookshelf is, I literally go from, in the last year I ended off with like My Life in France and, you know, Chanel Miller and Mary Shelley, and it literally goes from to that into like Anti-Diet and all of those ones, then into cults, and I kind of love it. It's a bit chaotic, but you know, why not? So next we have all of my ocean-related non-fiction books. It's one of my favorite genres, subgenres of non-fiction. I've read tens of them. I have to check Sorograph to see how much I have read of all of them, but I've read a lot. I've gone through Goodreads like every year. How they do like their Goodreads Choice Awards, and I've read. I went through like last year. I read all of their Ocean nominated books because I love it that much. And there was some misses, but there were some really good hits too. But I don't own a lot of them because I just spend my book money elsewhere, and so it doesn't represent all of what I've read. But this is a good chunk. So let's get started. We have first one here, Underworld by Susan Casey. This is her talking about the depths of the ocean and her travels around that. And Susan Casey's incredible. I've talked about her multiple times on this channel. We have that. Then we have The World Without Us, just randomly here. Iconic. Yeah, what I need to say, you know The World Without Us. Then we have The Boundless Sea. And this is a chunky, 1,000-page book about the history of the oceans. And it's incredible. It is such a big topic to cover. And David just does it amazingly. I audiobooked this and just loved it. I was swept away like an ocean, pretty much. I would say this book here, and in my mandatory reads for ocean nonfiction, for ocean whatever related books, and I mentioned another history book in there, and pick that one up too. It's a newer release, but you'll probably see this one out more. And I don't own that other one. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I have it as an ebook on my phone, and literally I love it so much. And one day I'll get a copy of it. But we got The Boundless Sea here. Then we have more Susan Casey, and we're starting to get into shark books right now. We have The Wave by Susan Casey. This is her going to like the surfing competitions where they try to surf the biggest waves and risk everything, risk their lives, risk safety, just to ride big waves. And it's her just going there and seeing what happens. She talks to a lot of people, and her writing is very like conversational, and she's one of those nonfiction writers where she's learning as she's as the book goes, she's learning, so you're learning with her. And I know how people don't kind of like that style of nonfiction, but I do. I think it's charming, and I love Susan Casey. Then we also have The Devil's Teeth. This is her with sharks. So I brought it. I love Susan Casey. This was such a fun book. I don't have her book about whales because that is the one novel of hers I don't like, and I thought it was shockingly not that good. And so I don't own it because I think I've got 3. That's enough of her until she writes her next book and I like it. Then we have Chasing Shadows, of course, more Great White Shark books, iconic, pick them up if you see them. Then we have Emperor of the Deep, of course, iconic shark books, pick them up. Then we randomly here have Animal Liberation, probably by Peter Singer, one of the probably great Australian books in my opinion. Peter Singer is Australian, I think. I could be wrong, but I'll just assume. And it's confronting, it's challenging, and it's just incredible. This is the revised edition, but I love it so much. If you have not read Animal Liberation, give it a try. It is very confronting, but I found it endlessly amazing. So we have that, and then we have more shark books because we just do. Now, this is even all of them I've read. I've read so much. We have books about the New Jersey shark attack of 1916. We have Close to Shore, then 12 Days of Terror. And this is their accounts of it. 12 Days of Terror is more factual based, and here's the facts type of nonfiction, which I do like. But Close to Shore is more like the narrative nonfiction of that event. And it's so gripping, and it's so incredibly written. And I was shaking. I was so invested into it. And the writings of what happened, oh my god, I loved it so much, that writing. And so we have those. I've got to slowly start putting these back because I got to make room for the next layer of books. But we still have one more shark book, and that's Sharks: A History of Fear in Australia. This is is important because Australia is surrounded by sharks. We can't leave this country because there's sharks everywhere. And this is more of like a social history, a cultural history of sharks in Australia and how perceptions of them have changed over time. And it's just incredibly interesting. And I found it and I really enjoyed it. And then we have one of the great historians in my mind, and that's Samuel Eliot Morison. This is The Great Explorers. This is an abridged edition of American history, early American history, and he's just incredible. What do I need to say? It's Samuel Eliot Morison. He's one of the greats in my opinion. I will say I haven't read as much Morrison as I want to because literally I have never seen him over here. I think he's like strictly an American thing, obviously, because of the books he writes. but I just love his histories so much. He's so gripping. I've read that one, and I read his Christopher Columbus one too. I found that was really incredible, but I never see him, and so I hope one day I'll stumble across him, and I will happily buy all of them I see, because he is an incredible writer in my opinion, and I love him so much. So I'm just quickly putting all of these away. So it's gonna take 2 seconds, sorry. But yeah, but this isn't all of the ocean related nonfiction I've read. I don't know why I like that niche so much. I think I need to process it a bit. I just find it interesting, but I've never been um, a lover of the ocean. Like, I grew up swimming and all that because I always been told that it's Australia and you've got to learn to swim because of all the creeks and rivers and all that. So I learned to swim from a young age and all that. But literally, when it goes to like actually swimming, I just don't do it anymore. I'm more than happy just to sit at the beach and read, to be honest. But I don't know. I just don't. It's just not for me, but that's okay. So we'll put those there, and we'll put this one back. Okay, this is the last shelf here. So let's pull these out. So I'll pull. I'm sorry, I'm not as prepared as I should be for these, but grab these. Sorry. Oh my god, this. You just see the pile slowly start to stack up. But okay, let's start. We have, make some more room. Sources of the Self by Charles Taylor. Mara from books like Woe, read this, loved it, so I brought it. She did do a live stream with her friend breaking down like the first, I don't know, like couple chapters of this book, and I didn't continue on with it, so I was like, oh, like I'll wait till they do it, and they never picked it up again. So I never finished it, and that's rare for me because normally I do. But this is just the history of people talking about themselves in terms of ego and all that, and selfhood. It's very big, of course. It's not really. It's only just around 500 pages, so I may do like a weekend of it maybe. But yeah, I remember really finding it interesting because Charles's range of sources is just amazing, and yeah, I need to get back to it. So hopefully I'll get to it one day. And then we have Shakespeare's Lives, of course. This is a Shakespeare conspiracy, and I love Shakespeare conspiracies so much. This is a hardcover I found. It's iconic. It's probably my favorite in terms of that stuff. But I've read big chunks of it, but I haven't read the full thing yet. And I don't know why, but I need to get back to it. Then we have another one I haven't read yet, and that's The Last Woman Hanged. Yeah. This is about Louisa Collins, and she was the last person. Oh my god. In January 1889, Louisa Collins became the last woman hanged in New South Wales. She poisoned her husband's and was put on trial 4 times just in order to convict her. And this is this book talks about was she, like her verdict, and there's some people that believe she wasn't guilty of it, but who knows. And literally in the title it says 1 woman, 2 husbands, 4 trials, and 1 bloody execution. So it'll be interesting to see what I think of this. And then we have No Visible Bruises, Rachel Louise Snyder. This is one of the most intense books about domestic violence I've ever read. I've read a couple of them years and years ago, but this is the one that stuck with me the most. It's a lot. It is, and it's just incredible. And if you want to do a book about it, pick up this one here. You'll learn a lot, and it's very impactful. I will say, like this, I haven't read that book in like literally 6 years, and I still remember scenes of it. What some of the women and the wives went through. But anyway, we have The Fabric of Civilization here, how textiles made the world. This is a history of textiles and how it influenced and shaped trade and traveling to, and just you don't really think about textiles and all that as being like major developments. I think it gets overshadowed a bit. But my god, the sheer amount of history and death and just chaos that went into the history of textiles and fabrics is insane. And if you want to learn about that, give this one a try. It's very lovely. And then we have randomly here All the President's Men. I've This is the only book I've read of Watergate, and I really loved it. I I know a bit about Nixon and what was going on at the time, mostly because I know Gough Whitlam and he critiqued Nixon, but that was more related to the Vietnam War rather than Watergate. But yeah, this is probably the most famous book about Watergate. It's amazing read for me. I really enjoyed it, and I've always think, oh, I've got to do more, but I just don't know where to go next really, and I think I need to get into that more. And then next, we're nearly done. We have two books by Oliver Sacks here. This is a bit dude bro with me. We have The Man Who Mistook His Hat for a Wife, and then we have Hallucinations. Now, I like Oliver. I think for me, I really enjoy his case studies rather than his actual examination of what his clients are going through. I just love hearing the case studies. I find them so interesting and so just compelling too. And I know Oliver wrote a lot too, but these are the only two I've ever read. And I always think I need to keep going with him. But again, he's fine as a writer, but I just really love the way he writes his case studies and talks about his clients too. So we have those. And the last book we have is The Complete Jack the Ripper by Donald Rumbelow. This is the only Jack the Ripper book I've read. I've never been much of a Jack the Ripper girly. I don't know why. I don't know. It's just never gripped me. But this is a history of it. This goes into so much depth. It's insane. In not even 350 pages. But it talks about the conspiracies. It talks about the suspects. It talks about the crimes themselves and everything about Jack the Ripper. I'm not a ripperologist, literally at all, but when I read stuff like this, I'm like, I need to get into this because I know Jack the Ripper is like, its own industry at this point in terms of the publishing world, and I feel like I need to, I want to give it more of a try. So if you know any great Jack the Ripper books outside of this one here, let me know. But yeah, that was all of my non-fiction books. This was so fun to talk about these ones because, again, I never get to talk about them, but I'm glad we done it in, a two-part, nearly an hour-long video duo, and it was very lovely. But yeah, let me know what you think about the books I've mentioned, and yeah, thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I will see you next time.